He took on the American right wing of his day, its worst evils: hatred of immigrants, contempt for the truth, greed, and the abuse of power. We are fighting those same evils today. United Kingdom, across the globe. And we need to be clear, shamelessness is not and will never be a superpower.
The cameras were rolling, the audience was laughing, and for a moment it looked like another late-night joke aimed at Donald Trump. Jimmy Kimmel stopped smiling and looked straight into the camera with the calm expression of someone who wanted the audience to notice something deeper. Behind the jokes lingered the warning often connected to Jim Carrey, the idea that powerful people become dangerous when they cannot handle being laughed at. The segment framed Trump's problem in a way that felt simple but sharp. It was the sound of a crowd refusing to fear him. Trump had spent decades building an image around dominance, confidence, ratings, and control. But comedy works differently than politics. A speech can be challenged. A scandal can be denied. Carrey's role in the story was presented as more than celebrity commentary. Through his paintings, interviews, and public statements, he appeared to warn people about a larger pattern: the hunger for praise, the anger at criticism, and the obsession with loyalty. He was not simply mocking Trump. He was describing what happens when a public figure becomes addicted to attention and begins seeing criticism as betrayal instead of democracy.
This administration is a rabid dog, and it's turning us upside down. And all, as far as I'm concerned, it's as obvious as the nose on your face. But people have made these elections and politics in general who they are. We just need to change it. And if you can't vote for a Democrat, at least let all this flood of information that's so negative and so obvious keep you home.
Then came Kimmel, standing in the uncomfortable space where comedy and journalism sometimes meet. The segment showed him replaying clips, reading Trump's own words aloud, and letting the audience connect the dots themselves. Kimmel did not need dramatic accusations or emotional speeches. Trump's own reactions carried the weight. The laughter started as entertainment but slowly became recognition. People were no longer reacting only to punchlines. They were reacting to something familiar: attacks on critics, obsession with ratings, anger toward networks, demands for loyalty, and public insults aimed at anyone who challenged him.
Trump has 3 wars going on right now: Iranians, Ukrainians, and comedians. And he's meant to distract us from the prices he didn't lower on day one and from the Trump Epstein files, to distract us from the illegal war he started.
The room felt it all at once, and suddenly the joke no longer seemed small. The segment suggested that Trump's real weakness had never been hidden. It had existed in public view for years. The vulnerability was fragility beneath the image of strength. A leader who could insult opponents endlessly yet struggled to absorb mockery directed at himself. A man who wanted to appear untouchable but looked most exposed whenever audiences laughed freely. That was why comedians mattered in moments like this. They do not control armies or elections, but they can reduce powerful figures down to ordinary human size. Carrey did it with satire and artwork. Kimmel did it with a microphone and television clips. Different styles, same message. In a democracy, no politician should become too powerful to laugh at. The segment then turned towards something more serious: free speech. It raised the question of what happens when politicians attack comedians, journalists, or television networks simply because criticism damages their image. Older viewers especially understood the warning. They remembered when presidents were expected to tolerate satire because public office mattered more than personal ego. That contrast made Kimmel and Carrey's message land harder. Neither appeared frightened by Trump's angry reactions. In fact, the segment suggested those reactions only made the jokes spread further. Every complaint, every furious response, every late-night post pushed more people toward the clip. The more Trump tried to silence mockery, the more the mockery multiplied. Trump wanted control of the stage, but comedy kept stealing the spotlight away from him. He wanted to project strength, but the reaction made him appear sensitive. He wanted to punish ridicule, but the ridicule only grew louder. By the time the audience fully understood the pattern, the laughter itself had become part of the verdict. The story also carried a larger message about democracy itself. Politicians may control speeches and campaigns, but comedians remind audiences that no leader stands above criticism. Satire becomes dangerous to powerful figures because it strips away the performance and reveals ordinary insecurity beneath the image. By the end, the audience no longer felt like it had watched another late-night segment. It felt like they had watched a test of whether power could tolerate public laughter without demanding punishment. Could a leader separate personal insult from public duty? Could someone who mocked others constantly accept being mocked in return? And maybe that was why the moment stayed with viewers afterward. Kimmel and Carrey did not reveal a hidden secret. They revealed something visible all along. Beneath the loud confidence, the image of control and the endless claims of strength was a deep sensitivity to one simple sound. A room full of people laughing freely.